The humid air of the Melbourne paddock at Albert Park is vibrating with the sharp, ambitious roar rising from Maranello. As the revolutionary machines of the 2026 regulations take to the track for their first true race weekend, all eyes are on one name: Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton didn't just bring his titles to Ferrari, he brought 14 months of clandestine work embedded into the very DNA of the SF26. This weekend, Melbourne isn't just a season opener, it's poised to be the sacred turning point that ends Ferrari's 28-race drought of victories. Ferrari's Red Revolution isn't just about raw power, it's about ingenious aerodynamic tricks designed to checkmate the competition. If you want to feel every move of this technical chess match to your core, subscribe to F1 Perspective, because we are ready to exit the pits in the smartest and best prepared fashion. You are in the right place to witness Maranello's new Crimson Dawn. The story of the season begins here, and we will dissect every lap, every telemetry leak, and every political maneuver for you. Lewis Hamilton's involvement in the Ferrari project starting 14 months ago, long before he even took off his Mercedes overalls, has become the paddock's biggest open secret. During hundreds of silent hours spent in the Maranello simulator, Hamilton dictated his driving character to the engineers in every cell, from suspension geometry to weight distribution. Unlike previous Ferrari iterations, the SF26 was sculpted specifically to meet Hamilton's legendary demand for a sharp front end, ensuring the car is far more stable and compliant during corner entry. Hamilton millimetrically adjusted the center of gravity, optimizing the contact patch pressure of the tires. This car is not just an engineering feat, it is a masterpiece born from Hamilton's technical vision and Maranello's ambition, carved specifically for his driving style. This 14-month silent operation will be Ferrari's greatest ace in the high-speed technical corners of Melbourne, especially through sectors like turns 9 and 10, where high-speed stability is paramount. Hamilton has elevated the feedback sensitivity to a level where the pilot feels the car as an extension of their own body. The legendary inverted rear wing design that stunned the paddock on the final day of testing is Ferrari's ultimate secret weapon, and an absolute engineering marvel for Melbourne. This radical design manipulates the low-pressure zone created by exhaust gases using Bernoulli's principle so effectively that it grants a net advantage of roughly 6 to 7 horsepower, 4 to 5 kilowatts on the straights, even when DRS is closed. Ferrari engineers have millimetrically tuned the activation speed of the active aero components to the FIA-mandated 400 millisecond limit. This inverted geometry profile evacuates airflow far more efficiently on Melbourne's long and drag-sensitive straights, promising a higher top speed than their rivals. The Venturi effect under the wing maintains downforce even at lower speeds while dramatically reducing drag at the top end. Maranello's technical knockout creates an aerodynamic shield against Mercedes' 420 kilowatts of raw power unit output. This design doesn't just protect raw speed, it secures mid-corner aero balance, giving Hamilton that on-rails sensation he demands for championship success. The Melbourne circuit, with its 5 distinct straight-mode active aero zones, subjects machines and pilots to an unprecedented stress test. A driver must toggle wing settings at least 5 times per lap. Over a full Grand Prix distance, this tally reaches a staggering 300 activations. The actuators on Ferrari's inverted wing were personally pushed to the limit by Hamilton during testing, with thermal data being monitored constantly. The fine line between actuator speed and the durability of the hydraulic system will be the difference between a trophy or a smoke-filled DNF for Ferrari in Melbourne. For hydraulic pressure to peak 300 times without a single error is pushing the absolute boundaries of engineering. Hamilton's simulator expertise determined the exact millisecond these wing activations should occur for maximum efficiency, protecting the battery from clipping. While rivals are still grappling with the complexity of this system, Ferrari's surprising consistency gives them a decisive strategic edge in Melbourne's unpredictable seaside crosswinds. If these 300 activations go flawlessly, no technology on the grid will be able to stand against them. A significant 7 degrees Celsius ambient temperature swing is expected in Melbourne between Saturday's qualifying and Sunday's race, which could result in a 15-degree variance in track temperature. This jump from 18 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius could completely upend the working window of Pirelli's new 16-inch tires. Ferrari's greatest hidden ace in the SF26 is the new suspension geometry and adaptive damping system developed with Hamilton's surgical input. This system maintains tire carcass temperatures far more stably and consistently than their rivals. While McLaren relies on its radical thermal management via brake ducts trick, Ferrari counters with mechanical suspension compliance. This thermal gamble on the Albert Park asphalt could propel Ferrari ahead of Mercedes' tire-shredding monster, especially in the second half of the race. Hamilton's legendary tire whispering skills will be the ultimate key to unlocking victory in these fluctuating Melbourne temperatures. This suspension setup, which prevents tyre overheating, will allow Ferrari to suffocate their rivals in race trim. Lewis Hamilton's personal phone calls to his former boss Toto Wolff and McLaren's ambitious Zak Brown to gauge their testing progress have become the most discussed strategic move in the paddock. Hamilton is certain that Mercedes and McLaren are sandbagging. He specifically knows that Mercedes is holding back its raw 420 kilowatt engine output until they land in Australia. Through these calls, Hamilton is effectively sending a message: I'm watching your every move and you can't even fathom what Ferrari has in store. This psychological warfare has clearly unsettled the Mercedes and McLaren garages. The new, aggressive and fully integrated Hamilton inside Ferrari is making Maranello's voice heard not just on the track but in the political corridors as well. Hamilton planted a seed of doubt in the minds of his rivals with these calls, securing psychological dominance before Melbourne even began. This is a masterclass in how a champion manages the paddock. Charles Leclerc's statement that Red Bull still seems a step ahead of us, Max is very fast, brought a sudden silence to the paddock. But is this a hard truth, or is it a clever PR maneuver by Ferrari to lull their rivals into a deep slumber? Leclerc is pointing toward Red Bull's ERS efficiency and Verstappen's battery recharging tricks. On a track like Melbourne, where energy management is critical, this advantage could theoretically pose a threat to Ferrari. However, deep paddock whispers suggest that Ferrari never actually unleashed 100% of its engine power during testing. Leclerc's cautious stance might be a brilliant strategy designed to mask the massive shock offensive planned for Melbourne. Ferrari is presenting itself as the prey, but it has been a hunter waiting 14 months for this exact moment. Leclerc and Hamilton are praising Red Bull to hide their true pace until the very last second of Melbourne qualifying. This could be one of the greatest deceptions the paddock has ever seen. When the misty, electrically charged morning of Albert Park finally surrenders to the race dawn and the ferocious roar of the new generation 2026 power units, millions of tifosi across the globe will hold a deeper conviction than ever that the 28-race-long, soul-crushing victory drought is destined to end at the hands of Lewis Hamilton, signaling a grand restoration for the Red Empire. When Hamilton's perfect DNA, a blueprint forged over 14 clandestine months in the absolute darkness of the simulator and etched into every fibre of the SF26's suspension and weight distribution, merges with the engineering masterstroke of Ferrari's 7-horsepower inverted wing and Charles Leclerc's unwavering strategic poise, Melbourne transcends being a mere date on the calendar to become a high-stakes referendum on Maranello's technical supremacy. Do you truly believe that Hamilton can deliver that sacred, long-awaited victory in his monumental debut for the Scuderia and launch what would arguably be the greatest redemption story in the history of sports? Or will Ferrari's ingenious inverted wing trick, which offers a net gain of roughly 6 to 7 horsepower, 4 to 5 kilowatts on the straights, be insufficient to topple the sheer raw 420 kilowatts power and straight-line dominance of the Mercedes monster? Let's ignite an absolute firestorm of debate in the comments. Share your detailed analysis on this massive technical revolution, the fallout of Hamilton's strategic espionage calls to Toto Wolff and Zak Brown, and Ferrari's chances of mastering the 7-degree thermal swing that threatens to derail everyone's tyre management strategy. In your eyes, is this the moment Ferrari proves they have finally checkmated the field, or is the complexity of the 300 active aero activations per lap a disaster waiting to happen in Melbourne's volatile seaside atmosphere? To ensure you don't miss a single beat of the 2026 revolution, the final telemetry earthquakes from the paddock, or the impact of the FIA's secret rain hazard rule under Article B 1.5.11 that has officially punctured the sanctity of Parc Fermé, make sure to subscribe to F1 Perspective and hit the notification bell right now to join our elite community of technical insiders. We will be here throughout the entire Australian GP weekend, delivering the fastest, readiest and smartest leaks straight from the heart of the pit lane, wishing you the smartest, readiest and fastest exit from the pits.